This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Hey, when we're grown up, we're gonna live in a huge house with like 1,000 windows. Windows? Let's get a lazy river. Yeah, a lazy river, hallways, and trampoline floors. Why are you laughing?
I still remember your rundown apartment where we watched the sun set over life that we knew. You were renting, my heart kept the key. So you're still in my head. Heartbreak, nostalgia. I forget I'm without you. Heartbreak.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, yes, and another yes. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. And today is Wednesday, which makes it Whip 'em Out Wednesday, July the 1st of 2026. And we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there. Radio Big. Oh, yes, doing the fun stuff that we get to do at Radio Big, no doubt about that. All kinds of stuff going on inside of the multiverse. So let's start talking right away about some of that stuff, because who doesn't want to do that? So anyways, as we are going through everything, how have you been? It's important to have that discussion. We need to start right there. I hope everything's been good and grand over the last 24 hours for you. If you kind of hung out with us on the other side of the equation, because that's kind of always important to take a look at, so no doubt there. So let's talk about what we do here. So it's Whip 'em Out Wednesday. Let's start off with that, because that's always important. That's where the amount of stuff gets sent in to us. We do appreciate it. But today we will be talking about safety in the news and safety. That's kind of what we do Monday through Thursday before we get into the cluster that is Freeform Friday. But on Wednesday, we're still trying to play catch up with everything that's going on, talking a little bit about this, talking a little bit about that, and then even having the discussions of everything that's going on inside of the world of the multiverse. So as we are doing that, we have some professional broadcasters that come in. They start talking about everything that's going on inside of the world of the multiverse. And then we come back out. I give you some level of a main story, and then we kind of run it from there. That's the run. And then outside of that, well, it's kind of whatever you want to make it. We could do a little bit of all the stuff. And I know it drives some people crazy in regards of everything that we do around here, but it's okay. Because the reason that we do the show in the format that we do is not to make people upset. Of course, that's not the gig. What we do here is we talk about things that are topical and something that you can discuss prior to just running into a meeting and start talking about everything that's going on inside of your department or inside of the world of safety. That's the reason. So if you want to interact with the show, it's simple to do so. Callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. We'll get you moving and grooving. No, seriously, it will get you moving and grooving immediately in regards of everything that's going on. So with that being said, here's what I'd like to discuss with you. If you are a Apple iPhone user, we have recently sent out our most recent update for the Safety FM app. So if you go into the Apple Store, you type in Safety FM, boom, the new app is there. And I mean, when I say new, it is kind of playing into the whole factor of Safety FM, the website. But then you kind of get everything that's going on inside of the radio station. And you get some podcasts in there as well. So I'm not going to lie in regards to some of that. So take a look around at what we got going on. You might enjoy it a little bit more thoroughly than what you think. Okay, so with that being said, boom. Let's do this. Let's bring in my friends from Feature Story News and let them tell you exactly what the hell's going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because, man, that is the gig of gigs. That is the time of time, so let's do that.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Feature Story News in Hong Kong, I'm Laura Westbrook. Iran says it will not hold direct talks with the United States in Doha until the terms of the existing ceasefire memorandum of understanding are fully implemented. Qatar's foreign ministry confirmed no face-to-face meeting between Iranian officials and US envoy Steve Witkoff on Tuesday. Washington had hoped to use the 60-day negotiating window to press Tehran on its nuclear enrichment program, but Iran says the priority is ensuring the US-Iran ceasefire holds. Nick Harper reports from Washington.
Iran is saying no direct talks with Steve Witkoff, with Jared Kushner, until that ceasefire is completely ironed out. But from the United States' point of view, they were hoping that in this 60-day period of negotiations, they were going to get down to the real issue for them, the nuclear part of the problem and what happens to that enriched uranium. But so far, Iran is very much taking a hands-off approach and saying that it will not engage in direct negotiations, and that's why we've got the Qataris as the mediators in between. But of course, that in itself will slow up any real progress that they hope to achieve during these 60 days.
The United States Supreme Court has struck down President Donald Trump's executive order seeking to end birthright citizenship. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote the majority opinion, marking the administration's third major defeat at the court in recent months. 3 conservative justices dissented. Kate Fisher reports.
This was kind of Donald Trump's signature policy. It's something he's campaigned on throughout his political career, and he made this executive order on the first day of his second term in office. Now we are at the final decision by the Supreme Court, and they have rejected his challenge to the right to immediate citizenship to babies born here on American soil by 6 justices to 3.
China's foreign ministry has rejected blame for the European Union's economic difficulties, saying Beijing is not the root cause of the bloc's problems and that the two are partners, not rivals. The statement followed marathon trade talks in Brussels, which ended with an October deadline for progress on their deepening trade disputes. The EU's goods trade deficit with China reached around €360 billion last year. Will Denslow reports from Brussels.
We heard from Maroš Šefčovič, the Trade Commissioner for the European Union. He simply said that the status quo when it comes to this trade relationship is not an option. He says that this gap when it comes to the trade surplus is widening and that it is not sustainable. That is why it was seen as so important to have this meeting here in Brussels and to continue this framework under the trade and investment consultations.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking today and tomorrow at a significant shift in American public opinion that is going to have a huge impact politically on both the Republican and Democratic parties, potentially for years to come. For the first time since polling began, a majority of American voters now say they have more empathy for Palestinians than they do for Israel. Haaretz columnist Joshua Leifer laid out the numbers in this interview with Foreign Policy magazine.
I mean, this graph is remarkable because you can kind of track actually all of sort of the Netanyahu era's wars onto declines in American support for Israel. You can even see in 2021, that war, there's a dip and it kind of is a slow dip. And then obviously the most precipitous dip actually is not on October 7th, itself, but seems to be the summer of 2025, which was when Israel was blocking humanitarian aid from entering the Gaza Strip. And, there were images of kind of starving children that sort of suffused American, I would say worldwide media. I think what we're seeing is a basic reaction to the reality that Americans received, primarily, I would say, on their phones, but also in the media. The image of Israel that was reflected back to them was one that they didn't like. And I think this is true even for people, or maybe especially for people who weren't necessarily paying that much attention.
Tomorrow, what it all means for the powerful pro-Israeli political lobby in the United States. For them too, life is changing. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
The main news again. 1 week on from devastating earthquakes in Venezuela, rescuers are keeping up with the search for survivors. The US Supreme Court upholds the right to American citizenship at birth in a rebuke to President Donald Trump. Iran says it will meet with Qatari mediators to discuss negotiations with the United States, as both sides seek to implement a memorandum of understanding aimed at ending the Middle East war. And that's the latest feature story news. Laura Westbrook reporting.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all three books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Prepare yourself.
We are now being distributed on iHeartRadio. Listen on iHeartRadio app. Radio Big.
Okay, let's go.
Safety in a way never heard of before.
The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, here we go. 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Whip 'em Out Wednesday. No doubt about that. So let's start talking right away about some things that are going on inside of the multiverse, because this is what we need to talk about. This is what we need to do. So take a listen to this. A 29-year-old woman is sharing her story after she and her dog came face to face with a grizzly bear during a morning hike in Alberta's wilderness. Jessie Oakes said that she spotted roughly a 400-pound bear, and it approached, circled her and her Dutch Shepherd, Sowski, and appeared to focus the attention on the dog. The tense encounter, which has captured on video, lasted about a minute. Oak stayed calm, repeatedly yelled at the bear to back away, and avoided running while trying to keep her dog from reacting. The bear eventually lost interest and walked away, leaving both of them unharmed. Take a listen to this.
Hey! No! Hey! Initially, I didn't see any sign of aggression at all. I actually remained pretty calm. My main concern was just keeping my dog calm as well. I didn't want him freaking out and potentially aggravating the situation. I started getting really worried. Like his claws, they're massive, and it just takes one swipe and then, catastrophe would happen. Everything just slowed down. I was thinking solely on the present. My life's on the line right now. What do I do to survive this situation?
Okay, so very PMA is what it sounds like, positive mental attitude, because I would have definitely been like, what the hell's going on? That is for sure. Okay, so let's start talking about this, because this was making the rounds yesterday. And listen, I'm going to tell you, it's not that I disagree with sports. Let's just make sure that we're clear. I mean, I understand that there is some ability, some gifts, some training, a lot of potential work that needs to be put into this. But I wanted to share this because this was making a round. LeBron James is officially moving from the Los Angeles Lakers and forming the team that he plans to play elsewhere for his record-setting 24th NBA season. The 41-year-old has not announced his next destination, but reports say that several teams are expected to pursue him once free agency opens. James spent 8 seasons with the Lakers, highlighted by leading franchise to the 2020 NBA championship. During this time, the Los Angeles, he became the NBA's all-time leading scorer and continued to perform at an elite level, average of 20.9 points, 7.2 assists, and 6.1 rebounds last season. Lakers governor Janine Buss thanked James for his contributions, calling him one of the greatest athletes in the history and wishing him well. Take a listen to this.
The Lakers have gone through different transformations the last year or so, right? And part of that was getting Luka Doncic. But my understanding is after 8 years there with the Lakers, they won the championship in 2020, led by LeBron James and Anthony Davis. LeBron just felt that the time had come for both sides to move on. My understanding is he just felt he can find his happiness in life elsewhere, out of the Lakers, and that's the decision he came to today. So it was twofold. One, it's deciding to play basketball next season. He's already played 23 NBA seasons. Next year would be an unprecedented, historic 24th year. Once again, he would be playing. It's not clear whether that would be it or he would even play a 25th season potentially.
So there you go. LeBron James still, making the rounds there in regard to what's going on. So here's my question to you. It's, everybody wants to be in California, or at least it seems that way with a good chunk of people that I get to talk to. So you make it to California, you're there for 8 years, and then all of a sudden you're going to go elsewhere. You were in Cleveland, you were in, what else were you in? You were in Miami at one point, went back to Cleveland, and then ended up in LA. Where do you go there? I mean, do you go to like Milwaukee? I mean, I'm just asking. I don't know. It's just kind of a weird one. Just things to think about. I mean, I'm not the person to ask anything about this about, because what the hell do I know?
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about this one. Newly released police body cam footage shows former NFL reporter Deanna Rodsny receiving a warning instead of a ticket after being pulled over by in New Jersey for alleged texting while driving. During the stop, Diana showed her officers a text message with Minnesota Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell and mentioned that she had also been texting Brian Doball. The officer, a Viking fan, ultimately let her go with a verbal warning, reminding her that it is not to use her phone while driving and jokingly asking her to keep him updated on the team's quarterback situation. Diane later re-encountered the incident on a podcast, saying that she had been working on breaking NFL story and claimed that she let the officer FaceTime with the NFL coach. However, newly received body cam footage reportedly shows no FaceTime call took place. The incident has renewed scrutiny over Diane's, especially after the New York Times referenced her FaceTime story in a recent profile before the video surfaced. The Ridgewood Police Department defended the officer's decision, saying that issuing a warning was within the department's policy and an appropriate use of the officer's discretion. Of course it is. So I'm going to give you the audio from the dash cam of what was going on. This way you can hear exactly what happened. And I think it's interesting on how these things work out.
You're not going to care. I'm an NFL reporter. I just broke that Sean McDermott got fired from the Bills, and that is what I was just sending a tweet. I was going to pull over because I have to make calls.
Okay.
I know you don't care, but I just letting you know my reason why.
Okay.
It was a work thing, and it was an emergency. What is your team?
I'm a Vikings fan, unfortunately. Let's see it.
Can you see the name?
Oh my God. KOC?
See what I said? Look what I said to them though, just now. Go to the bottom.
Oh my God. Wow. Pretty cool. Listen, I'm going to cut you a break on the cell phone. I understand your job requires you to be on the phone a lot.
I know.
Just try to wait till you get home, okay? Yeah, keep me updated with the Vikings, okay? Let me know if KOC is going to get a new quarterback in.
Okay, so there you go. You know, the tribalism is there. I guess it works out in regards of some of those things. Hey, you know, just let me know how my favorite team is doing, because that's important. I need to know, because I never know what's going on with the team. And for that reason, go ahead and don't use your cell phone. But it's okay that things have happened there.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's keep it in some weird stuff here, because that's kind of what we do. The family of a Texas man who was killed by falling tree at an Austin barbecue restaurant has filed a lawsuit claiming the tragedy could have been prevented. Kirk Foyle, a 64-year-old father of four, was eating on the outdoor patio at Green Mesquite Barbecue when a large pecan tree collapsed during a storm, fatally hitting him. The lawsuit alleges that the tree, dubbed the Widowmaker, had obviously signs of disease and decay, and that should have been noticed and addressed by the restaurant and neighborhood property owners. They claim that the tree was never properly inspected, maintained, or removed, despite posing a known danger. The restaurant has suggested lightning caused the tree to fall, but the lawsuit disputes the claim, arguing that the neglect was the real cause. The family is seeking at least $1 million in damages for wrongful death and gross negligence. What do you think about this? So, a falling tree could have been prevented. So, I agree. There is definitely some sounds there, and I don't want to sound insensitive in regards to some of this, but if the tree was never planted, it could have been avoided. If the person would have never went to the restaurant, it could have probably been avoided. I mean, it's kind of written weird, this little lawsuit. Listen, don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm downplaying any kind of level of death here. But think about what's being said in regards to this. I would like to understand this better. So the restaurant's daily special was apparently falling timber. Trees should provide shade, not jump into dinner. So here's the thing that I kind of question about the whole thing. Preventable? Maybe. How do you know for sure? You don't. And it becomes very weird when you start looking at this and saying, oh, it could have been prevented. Well, no shit. It could have been prevented if nobody ever went to the restaurant too. So it kind of gets very weird when it's all said and done. So there you go. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other things. Let's get into
some major news stories.
The Supreme Court has ruled a 6-3 against President Trump's effort to end birthright citizenships through executive orders, reaffirming that the 14th Amendment guarantees U.S. citizenship to nearly everyone born on American soil. The ruling blocks Trump's 2025 executive order, which sought to deny automatic citizenship to citizens born in the U.S. whose parents were in the country illegally or on temporary visas. Chief Justice John Roberts, writing for the majority, said that the Constitution promises of citizenship as long as applied to people born in the United States, relying on both the 14th Amendment and longstanding Supreme Court precedents. The order had never taken effect because it had already been blocked by the lower federal courts. So there you go. There you go. There you go. So what do you think here? Some definitely interesting stuff. No doubt about that. So let's talk about this because we briefly discussed this yesterday. Serena Williams returns to Wimbledon and came up just short of the fairy tale ending, playing her first singles match at the All England Club in 4 years. The 44-year-old tennis legend thrilled the center court crowd before falling to a 20-year-old Australian Maya Joint in a 3-set first-round battle, 6-3, 6-7, 8-6, 6-3. Williams, a 7-time Wimbledon champion, showed flashes of her trademark resilience by saving a match point to force a deciding set, but Joint held her nerve to pull off together the biggest win of her young career. The match marked Williams' first Wimbledon singles appearance since 2022 and her first winless trip to the tournament since 2019. She'll still compete in the doubles later this week alongside her sister Venus Williams, while the Joint called beating Serena a dream come true after growing up watching the tennis icon. So there you go. There you go. There you go. Okay, so let's talk about some other stuff because
we got quite a few things to get into.
A freight train carrying hazardous materials derailed yesterday afternoon in Bensalem, Pennsylvania, sending emergency crews rushing to the scene and prompting officials order to nearby residents to shelter in place. At least 10 train cars left the tracks, with authorities confirming that one derailed car was carrying flammable solution commonly used for rubbing alcohol. Hazmat teams were dispatched to inspect the rails, cars, and determine whether any dangerous leaks had occurred. Residents in the immediate area were told to stay indoors, close their windows and vents, and bring pets inside as a precaution while emergency responders assessed the situation. Some nearby homes were evacuated. Officials said that the derailment involved a freight train, not commuter rail service, and as of yesterday afternoon, no injuries had been reported, and authorities investigating what caused the derailment and additional hazardous materials that were involved. So it definitely sounds very interesting.
Freeform radio never sounded this great. Or has it? Radio Big.
Whoever knows what it sounds like, that's for sure. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other thing. A U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that states can ban transgender girls from competing in girls' sports at publicly funded schools. In a majority opinion written by Justice Brett Kavanaugh, the court upheld laws in Idaho and West Virginia saying that it may determine eligibility based on biological sex without violating the Constitution or Title IX. The decision came after the lawsuit filed by two transgender athletes, Idaho cross-country runner Lindsay Hexcock and West Virginia's middle school athlete Becky Pepper Jackson, who changed the state laws. The court's 3 liberal justices dissented. Justin Sonia Sotomayor argued the majority reached the conclusion without fully considering the facts and warned the ruling changed the longstanding legal standards. So there you go. What do you think here? It gets interesting, and this is kind of a level of discussion that's been had for some time. in regards of how that works. And I kind of get it and I kind of don't. So there you go. It's kind of a mixed bag, baby, as we are talking about it. So think about that. Okay, take a listen to this. Charlie Kirk's family is expected to make a rare public appearance next week as they come face to face with the man accused of murdering the conservative activist. Kirk's widow, Erica Kirk, along with her parents, Robert and Catherine Kirk, plan to attend the week-long pretrial hearing in Utah for 23-year-old Tyler Robinson, who was charged with fatally shooting Kirk on September the 10th, 2025, during an event at the Utah Valley University. It will be the family's first time in the courtroom with the accused. Prosecutors will use the hearing to present evidence they say links Robinson to the killing, including forensic analysts, surveillance video, witness statements, and autopsy findings, and alleged messages in which Robinson admitted to the crime. Robinson has been charged with aggravated murder, and prosecutors intend to seek the death penalty if he is convicted. He has not yet entered a plea. The judge also ruled that Robinson's transgender partner, Lance Luna Twiggs, who cooperated with the investigation after allegedly receiving incriminating text messages from Robinson while he was on the run, will not testify in person during the hearing. Twiggs has not been charged in the case. So there you go. I mean, hold on. If you're receiving text messages about something and you turned them in, can you really be charged for anything? I'm just kind of curious because that sounds a little weirdy eater. There in regards of it. Yeah, kind of a strange one.
Duh.
Just something to think about. I don't know. What do you think?
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's take a listen to this. Ford is recalling more than 741,000 vehicles in the U.S. because of transmission issue that could increase the risk of a crash. Yeah, the recall affects certain 2018 and 2021 Ford F-150s. Explorers, Expedition models, along with the Lincoln Aviator and Navigator. According to the National Hold on. Let's make sure we say this correctly. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the problem can damage the transmission parking system while the vehicle is in motion. If that happens, the vehicle could roll away when parked if the parking brake isn't applied. Ford says that it is aware of the 24 reports of property damage and 9 reported injuries connected to the issues. Owners will be notified by mail and can take their vehicles to Ford or Lincoln dealership for a free software update. Dealers will also inspect the transmission and replace any damaged components at no cost. So, let's talk about it because it's always interesting. Here's normally how this works. If you take the amount of vehicles based on the issue, and you make a determination and you go, will it be cheaper for the amount of incidents that we are going to have and pay those out opposed to the amount that it will cost to have a recall for this amount of vehicles? Which one will we go with? And then the company makes a determination, in most occasions, not saying that this is what's going on with Ford. And then they will go ahead and then determine if they're going to issue a recall or not. This is how that works. And then the determination is made if a recall will be done. If it is, there you go. If it isn't, then they just move forward and continue to pay out until something happens. I'm just saying, don't get mad at me.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Hey, I'm just saying on how it works. You don't have to get mad at me for saying this stuff. I'm just sharing with you. So, it's past the time, but let's do it anyways.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
You know, we get into the main stories, and sometimes I get so confused on the amount of stuff that we go through just to get here. We normally try to hit about that 32-minute mark. Today's kind of a failure day for us in regards of not hitting the mark, but that's okay. Life will go on, dear John. I guarantee it. So let's talk about this, because I have to be sometimes so amazed on what organizations do when it comes to bureaucracy, when it comes to the corporate bullshit that we talk about all the time. And I will tell you that because, and let's get a little bit closer if you're on video here, of the language that I use and the things that I say, and calling out the corporate bullshit that people have to do in regards of getting stuff done inside of organizations, sometimes it does not make me super popular with organizations. And that's okay. Doesn't offend me. But I think it's kind of funny sometimes on how some of these things work. Now, I want you to think about this for a moment. I'm going to give you something here in a minute. You are aware that if you want to change something within your organization, you normally have to have a discussion with someone on why the current project, program, versionality, and how things need to be done, SOP, whatever the fuck you want to call this, on how this actually works. And I will tell you, I was talking to someone and they were telling me about a 9-page change report form that they would have to fill out to get anything changed within the organization. And that's even just to get it looked at. And part of this 9 pages was to incorporate whatever the existing program, guideline, SOP was in regard to what needs to be done on how things are being done and what needs to be changed. 9 pages. So imagine putting in this other information inside of there. I'm sure that increased from 9 pages. Now, think about this for a moment. Who in the hell wants to go through that kind of cluster in regards of filling out the forms like this, then to make the determination that this needs to be done? It doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense whatsoever to do this in regards to getting this done, unless you really have strong buy-in to having this whole rerouting done. And I will tell you, and let me just be realistic, a lot of people are not committed to doing that level of work to get something changed, because this is where they will try to beat you down with bureaucracy just to make sure that we live in the status quo. Now, I bring this up today because I think that sometimes organizations are hilarious when it comes to bureaucracy. When it comes to doing weird things to try to get quote unquote things accomplished. Now, I don't know if you know this, but sometimes if your organization has a pretty big event that occurs, you are normally required to have somebody come in, depending on the state, and take a look at what has happened. And then you kind of have to do some level of reporting. Kind of standard, not a big deal, but something that normally happens. Now, I will tell you that some organizations will give the quote unquote vendor or the quote unquote consultant to come in large levels of paperwork to have to be filled out before they can proceed forward in regards to this. Do you know what it is for somebody wanting to know potential percentage of ownership of a company based on the individuals that might actually be part owners? Do you understand what it is, the level of having ID, social security numbers, bank account information to be able to conduct an investigation on a company? And this is part of their procurement process? No. This is corporate bureaucracy. This is the level of bullshit that I think that is so dumb when it comes to it, because at the end of the day, it becomes extremely strange, some of the requests. Now, what they know is that based on some of this information, organizations will not be involved with other organizations just because of the dumb requirements. Now, here's the fun part, and I'm kind of an asshole, so let's just be realistic here. When someone asks me for something that stupid, for something that dumb, I like to, in turn, turn around and ask for the same request. Yes, that exact same request. If you are asking for me for all of this, then I from you want the exact same thing. I want, because you want to do business with my organization, I want you to provide the same information that you're requesting from me. Now, it becomes extremely interesting when you do that, because automatically now all of a sudden they don't want to have the same conversation. Well, no, we don't do it that way. So then why in the hell should I be doing it that way? And that's exactly how I feel. And it is a feelings moment about the stuff that most people have to do inside of their job to get a change form done within the organization. 9 pages. Give me 9 pages worth of information on why I should have to fill this out. And listen, there are some items inside of your organization that it might make sense to do these 9 pages worth of change just to get something accomplished. But think about it for a moment. The level of bureaucracy and kind of dumb shit, because there's no other word around it, that needs to be done to get something to change is mind-boggling. And I say this from the standpoint of this. Why is it that we are so afraid of change? Why is it that we'll do endless amounts of wanting people to do paperwork just to say, oh no, our way was the right way the whole time? Isn't that weird?
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
In safety, in my opinion, you woke up. You saw the system, the simulation, the structure that trained you to mistake compliance for care. Safety mutation. Information misdirection picks up where the signal fractured. Because the system didn't shut you down, it rebranded you. It packaged your voice. Sold your rebellion as a new initiative. And smiled while doing it. This isn't a manual. It's a decoded transmission about what happens when slogans replace stories, when safety becomes marketing, and when truth gets mirrored so perfectly, you forget it was ever yours. You'll see the mutation. Learning teams turned into theater. Zero harm turned into optics. And feedback turned into formatting. But the signal didn't die. It was redirected. Safety Mutation is Book 2 of the Signal Transmission Trilogy. Available now in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by the author J. Allen, Ph.D. Because the system adapted. Now it's your move.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobile.io. That's mobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
The key. So you're still in my head. Heartbreak, nostalgia. I forget I'm without you. Heartbreak, nostalgia. I keep hearing the sound of your voice in my head when I can't find the
Okay, we are getting into the softer sounds of the Rated R Safety Show. Here we are, 45 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out. Let's talk about some heartbreak nostalgia. That's the name of the song. This is presented by Gavi. We would like to thank Gavi for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show.
Yeah, all we're gonna do is talk about honey. Only time we only wear gray clothes. Well, at least always you.
So there you go. Yeah, that's what we do. Kind of slow it down from time to time. So there you go. Little heartbreak nostalgia. Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora. So there you go.
But you're still here with me.
So there it is. Thank you, Gabby, for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. No doubt about that whatsoever. Okay, so let's start talking right away about some things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse. And if anything, let me tell you about the most important thing that I will tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and we want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com to find out more information. So, there's information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorder, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. Listen, once you get there, go all the way to the far right-hand side. All kinds of information, a whole plethora of stuff is readily available right there. Not a joke as I say that whatsoever. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse. So yes, days away, 12 days to be exact. Reality Shift, an observational symposium, 100% live and in person, taking place in Orlando, July the 13th, live at the Aloma Cinema Grill. What's happening on that day? Well, we're going to hang out inside of a movie theater, not a joke, not a high-end movie theater. Let's make sure that we're clear here. What we'll be doing on that particular day is having a discussion about human and organizational performance, behavior-based safety, and I'll be talking about Signal during that particular portion too. While we're there, we'll hang out and we'll go inside of that movie theater and we'll watch a documentary. A little bit of something unorthodox, no doubt about that. Want you to come out, hang out, and take a little viewer here of what we have going on, and then we move forward from there. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.io. That's safetyfm.io. 12 days away. Trying something different. We wanted to make sure that we got outside of the hotel ballroom and move forward. So that's it. That is kind of the whole kit and caboodle. So with that being said, let's continue talking about some other thingos, because that's kind of what we do around here. So yeah, safetyfm.io for more information, or I'll pop it back up. You can scan the little QR code, and we can go from there. So there you go. There you go. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse. I have John Small waiting in the wing, wanting to talk about the Motivation Minute. So if you're good with this, I'm good with this, and we can go from there. Seriously, Motivation Minute. Maybe Motivation Minute? Let's do it.
Courtesy of JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Tom. Charles Dickens said, "Have a heart that never hardens, and a temper that never tires, and a touch that never hurts." Great advice. Not always easy to do, but absolutely something I aspire to do each day. I had a run-in with a reporter recently. He was looking for a negative story. I was involved in making a decision that this reporter disagreed with. Our whole board agreed, and we stuck with the decision. This reporter wanted to do a negative story, and I declined to take part. But I was a bit rude to him, only because he was rude to me first. After our conversation, I kept thinking of a better way I could have dealt with him. I still don't know what the right thing was to say, but I do know that our decision was right. I just don't know how I should have communicated that to a reporter who only desired to do a negative story. So next time, here's my quote: no comment. The Motivation Minute. This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Diplomatic tensions eased slightly after the United States and Iran agreed to halt recent military strikes and restart negotiations aimed at stabilizing the Gulf region.
Officials from both governments arranged technical meetings in Qatar to begin renewed discussions. Analysts say successful talks could reduce pressure on global shipping routes and energy markets. Gary Beck reporting.
Emergency officials across western states expanded wildfire monitoring as dangerous summer conditions raised fears of additional fast-moving blazes threatening communities and infrastructure.
Dry vegetation and intense heat created volatile conditions across multiple fire-prone regions. Authorities urged residents near vulnerable areas to prepare evacuation plans as conditions remain unstable. Liam White reporting.
German investigators launched a major criminal probe after 5 people were killed during a shooting at a youth care facility in northern Germany.
Police arrested 2 suspects shortly after gunfire erupted inside the residential support center. Authorities are now examining possible motives while families await updates on several critically injured survivors. Lawrence Keller reporting.
Lawmakers in Washington faced renewed intelligence concerns after surveillance powers under a key national security program remained stalled following Senate opposition.
Several Republicans joined Democrats in blocking procedural efforts to extend federal monitoring authority. National security officials warned intelligence operations may face immediate disruption without legislative action. Kevin Sanders reporting.
Rescue crews in Venezuela pushed through shattered neighborhoods as survivors were still being found after a devastating earthquake left entire communities buried in rubble.
Emergency teams continued digging through collapsed buildings while hospitals struggled with overwhelming injuries. Officials warned the death toll could rise sharply as damaged roads slowed aid reaching isolated towns. Chris Anderson reporting.
Major changes hit the American media industry Monday after Comcast announced plans to separate NBC Universal operations from its profitable broadband and communications business.
Executives said the restructuring will create an independent entertainment company, managing television and streaming properties. Financial analysts expect the move to reshape competition throughout the broader media landscape. Kyle Norris reporting.
European authorities faced mounting pressure after an intense heat wave spread across the continent, straining power systems and forcing emergency services into constant response.
Temperatures climbed past dangerous levels across several countries as officials opened cooling shelters. Experts warned prolonged extreme heat could worsen wildfires and threaten already fragile electric grids. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Federal investigators moved quickly after a fast-moving wildfire near the Colorado and Utah border killed 3 firefighters battling dangerous wind-driven flames.
Crews were overwhelmed as sudden fire shifts trapped emergency personnel working rugged terrain.
Officials have begun reviewing field conditions while nearby communities remain under evacuation orders. Jessica Oakley reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
More hits to help you work. Because to get rich, you gotta work hard.
Yeah, dude, like I just made so much money that I could just sit around on my ass all day and play video games.
Wait, I forgot about Dogecoin.
Dogecoin rules!
Yep, there you go. Talking about all the fun stuff we get to do. No doubt about that. Let's go ahead and start talking about some things that happened back on this day. Back on the year that it corresponds to. Back in 1823, United Province of Central America gained independence from Mexico. In 1867, Dominion of Canada formed New Burns, New Scotia, Ontario, and Quebec. So there you go. In 1869, the U.S. Mint at Carson City, Nevada opens. In 1931, ice vending machine introduced in L.A. a 25-pound bag. In 1943, first withholding tax from paychecks. Yeah, there you go. In 1978, former President Nixon makes his first public speech since resigning in 1974. It took 4 years. Holy crap. What else? In 2021, Prince William and Prince Harry unveil a statue of their mother, Diana, Princess of Wales, at Kensington Palace on what would have been her 60th birthday. That happened, and that last one happened in 2021. So there you go. Based on everything that is going on. Talk about some celebrity birthdays going on today. Jamie Farr turns 92. Deborah Harry, yeah, she turns 81 today. Dan Aykroyd, 74. Pamela Anderson turns 59. Singer Missy Elliott turns 55 today. Liv Tyler, 49. And of course, last but not least, Canadian singer, songwriter, and dancer, and rising to fame as the finalist of So You Think You Can Dance, as she explodes her global pop star with hits like You Broke Me First and chart-topping Greedy. Tate McRae turns 23 today. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse. No doubt about that as we are talking. Let's talk about some things that you ought to know because it's going to be important. Tonight's Powerball jackpot is worth $375 million. Here's last night's winning Mega Ball numbers. It was 26, 41, 50, 53, 62. The Mega Ball was 12. The nation's power system is getting punishing stress tests. A heat dome is setting over the Midwest and the East Coast this week, and the temperature is expected to top 100 degrees from Boston to Washington, D.C., pushing the demand towards record highs and raising the risk of rolling outages. A major development has emerged in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother of Today's Show co-host Savannah Guthrie. The FBI has determined that all 3 ransom notes connected in the case were fake, eliminating the key theory that Nancy had been kidnapped for money. And let's see, tempers flared at Fenway Park last night as the Nationals pitcher Cade struck out the Red Sox first baseman Wilson and was heard yelling, "Sit down, boy." So there you go. I guess that was important. So there you go. CNF Chief Legal Affairs Correspondent Paula Reed is reportedly leaving the network after deciding not to renew her contract. Reports say that she had concerns about the pending Warner Brothers Discovery Paramount merger and uncertainty surrounding the CNN's future. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on. Anyways, that's going to sum up our time together. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so as we are talking about the world of music and entertainment. If you don't want to go over there and you want to stay here and hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus, you can do that, as he will be talking about the world of safety consulting. If I can leave you with some words of wisdom for today, here you go. This summer, let's promise to make waves, to find our favorite shade under the old oak tree, and to live each sunny day as it's the best day ever. Keep that in mind. And if you need some advice for today, store aloe vera gel in the refrigerator and apply it to your arms or legs for a refreshing sensation. It'll cool you down. That's something to think about. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and/or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and/or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and/or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.
Said over life that we knew, you were renting my heart, kept the key. So you're still in my head. Heartbreak, nostalgia. I forget I'm without you.